thinking that, that's the biggest misconception. It'll be a short night for him come Saturday night.
This mindset you have where you don't really pay attention to the record books and like people are bringing that to your attention. Have you always been like that, like dating back to like, your college wrestling career, or is it like, was there a moment when you were like, I need to shut all this noise down?
I think it's just growing through time and time again. I remember in high school, I started wrestling in high school. My sophomore years when I really started competing, and I wanted to be state champion so bad. So I trained. Then my senior year, I got beat for third. And I got beat and I ended up getting third. And I just remember feeling like, oh, I'm a failure. Everyone knows, everyone's talking about me. Then I go outside, no one gives a shit. I don't care. It's like, okay, what's next? But inside, what's next? Then you go on to college and you do the same thing. And then you come into MMA, and I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't always like that. MMA is a different animal. You know, let's say we have the best and worst fans in the world. Let's be honest. And it was a point where I wanted to, because I didn't get into it to be famous or rich by any means. I mean, I wanted to make some money. Take that back. I wanted some money, but I got into it, and I didn't really care. It wasn't for the people, for fans that like me, people that like me. But then I got into it, I'm like, you know, if I'm doing something that's this hard, and people are just talking shit about it, you know, even if you do it, it's not enough. They don't care how well you do it. They still talk shit to you. And it bothered me. And I have to say, it bothered me the most. I fought Neil back in St. Louis. And I made a comment after the fight, and which was taken the wrong way. I guess is the way that I said it. And Dana commented on it. And I felt like I lost the fight. I just felt so shitty. I stayed away from social media for a year. And it hurt me so bad that even after a win, that it really bothered me this bad, the backlash. And so, you know, I took some time off, and then in that process of healing, I just matured so much. And then I would say the last 3-4 years, I've grown exponentially, mentally. And just where I don't really give a shit. Like, you know, why am I gonna worry about this dude on this keyboard saying this, tweeting this, when, bro, you don't pay my bills? You know, my daughter went to school, you know, you don't pay for her lunch. You know, I ate free lunch in school. My daughter eat private school lunch now, you know, somebody got to pay for that. So if they're not doing it, I'm not worried about their opinion. So, you know, it took a lot of growing, and I'm sure, you know, like I'm sure my brother now is in a position to where he's coming into the UFC, and he hasn't really experienced what MMA fans are. So I'm sure me and him are gonna be having a talk here and there soon. Yeah, what to expect.
I know you don't listen to people say on the internet, but the man you're fighting on Saturday was in here earlier, and he said compared to your last 4 or 5 opponents, he's by far the best striker, and he even put himself at the top of the division's overall striker. So I'm curious where you rate him of your past opponents over the last few years.
I mean, I think he's, like I said, you know, he's the next guy up. He's the biggest, baddest dude. You know, according to everybody, he's the biggest, baddest dude. And I think skill-wise, he's very, very, very good. But let's, what Massive Dog was up here. Come on, we were singing this different tune. He's the most dangerous striker, he's never gonna finish. He's slick, he's nice, which he is. Very, very good striker. And you know, they were singing that too. And then we all saw what Massive Dog did to him over there in London. And hey, it is what it is. If that makes him feel better, that's fine. Whether you're a striker, whether you're a wrestler, whether you're a grappler, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I have one thing that they all don't have, and that is the ability to go out there and get it.
And for a while, a lot of the welterweight division contenders weren't really fighting, especially in the top 5. You were just going down the list, they weren't really fighting each other.
Still ain't fighting.
But now we have below fighting Sean Brady, on left fighting Jeff Neal, picked up a big win. So now as a champion, there's at least some.
What's that guy, Frank, that you said? His fight?
Jeff Neal?
No, the other guy. Nate. What's his name? What's his name?
All right.
So a lot of them want to fight, right? Who's one? Who's number 1?
I think so. Kobe.
Okay, is he fighting? Who's number 2? Is he fighting? Who's number 3?
Yeah.
4.
5 as well.
So these guys just gotta sit there and wait for me to call that number and they'll fight. So, I mean, this is the thing with contenders. The next guy. That's you guys' job to build them up. You know, and that's great because it's good for me. But the reason he's got to fight is because I'm fighting. You know, we're active. You know, my coaches are staying busy because we have to continuously train for all these guys. We did it 3 times last year. Champions aren't really doing that. Besides myself, Izzy, you know, who's really doing that.
Since we're on the topic of potential next people, Dana did say last night, you know, kind of the rare thing, said, I'll say if Hamzat wins, that's probably fair to say he'll be next for Kamaru if he wins. If that lines up, you know, you'd be undefeated, coming off a win over Nate Diaz, you would be going for the sole possession of the winning streak record. Do you feel like this could be like a super gigantic fight between the two?
I think any fight next is going to be a gigantic. I've already stated that I wanted that light heavyweight belt. You know, for a lot of people, it's crazy. But a lot of things seem crazy until it's done. And so, hey, I stated I wanted it after this win, and then I would sit down and have a conversation.
Is that something you're actually going to broach? Like, hey, this could be the time to do 205. Feel like the time
You guys think I kid when I come up here? I usually laugh when I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. And everyone thought I was playing with the whole Canelo situation. I wasn't. Hey, I really wanted that. That's something that I wanted. So it didn't come to fruition. And you know, who knows what the future holds? I'm not saying I will run through the division. Now, don't get me wrong. But at the top, I think I can get it done.
Is there any other wants in your life and career that you want to reveal to us?
Once, and like I just said it, I want to be bigger than Dwayne Johnson. So, and I want his bankroll too. So.
And one question for you. You know, Nate Diaz, he's fighting Hamzat. This is probably going to be his last fight in the UFC. What do you think the legacy he leaves behind in sports or in the UFC?
He's a scrapper, gamer. He's always a gamer. He's always a scrapper himself and his brother. I respect all everybody who's willing to get in here, to train, get in here and compete and have success. I respect everyone. And I respect him and his brother. You know, unfortunately, we didn't get to step in there and duke it out together, but you know, I have full respect to him and more power to him and good luck with him, his future career.
And last thing for me, I know the time off is largely due to the hand and stuff, but at the press conference your last night, you had that really powerful quote, the wanting to spend time with your daughter and kind of, you know, attend that part of your life. How, you know, significant is that being during this time off, and how refreshed do you feel due to, you know, spending that time with her?
It's crazy. That's a good question. It's crazy because it's a double-edged sword. Because that's my world. I want to spend a ton of time with her. While I'm home and I literally was a soccer dad. I'm telling you, I'm getting up at 6 a.m., getting her ready, dropping her off at school, and then, you know, I go train, come back, and do a couple of things in the house. I'm kind of clean freak, so I'm cleaning the house, do a couple of things. Then it's 2:30, time to go pick her up again, pick her up from school. Now it's her time. I drive her to tennis practice, then pick her up, make dinner, and all this. So I was pretty much doing that for a while. But after a while, it's like, damn, I'm kind of bored here. It's time to beat somebody up already. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword. I miss her greatly. Now being in Denver, I miss her a lot. And she's getting to the point now where she's 8 going on 13. So slim mouth, slim girl. But she's amazing, you know, one of the smartest girls ever. So I can't wait till Sunday. And most of you don't know, this is my favorite part about this whole thing. First, when I started my career, it was, of course, I wanted to compete, beat these guys. Yeah, that was great. But I have to be honest, my favorite part now, and I'm not kidding, I'm not selling my story, my favorite part is on Sunday. When I get to fly home with her, when we come get into the house and walk into our house. That is my favorite part right now about doing this sport. All this leading up, it's tough, it's hard, it's draining because I still got this weight to cut and I still got to perform on Saturday. But on Sunday, after that victory, and we fly home and we walk into our house, it's a feeling that I live for.
Kamaru, down here in front. You're speaking about 205, and I know
weight. You don't understand what my death grip is like. So I can get around you. I don't care whether you're heavyweight 205. These guys understand where my strength is. But I'll leave that up to my. I have an idea of what I want to do with a fight, but I'll leave that up to my coaches. Trevor, what he can dial up, George. Some of the tricks that they want to dial up in bed, and how we want to approach that. But I have it. An approach of how I want to fight those fights in my head, which usually comes out when everything else is failing in the fight. I just fuck it. I just go. I want to fight it. I'm gonna fight it. I'm gonna try the coach's way. I'm gonna try. This is what y'all dialed up. I'm gonna do it. But if everything's failing, fuck it. Let's just go.
Being bigger than The Rock, being bigger than Dwayne Johnson, how do you get there? What's the path there?
I don't know. That's why I guess this is a journey in life, right? I don't know. I didn't know how to get here. I didn't know. I remember sitting in an apartment in Colorado Springs, and I watched John Jones win my heavyweight title out of Shogun, and I was like, oh shit, I know John. I think I can play sport. I had no idea what that roadmap's going to look like, and I don't have any idea what the roadmap's going to look like. But nowadays I'm around some people who have better insight in what that looks like, and I'm starting to do a little acting now. So so hopefully one day we'll get there.
And that's what I want to ask you about. What can you tell us about Black Panther?
I can tell you it's different. Well, first and foremost, it's a different field. That acting ain't easy. It's a different field. Standing around for 14 hours a day, that's not easy at all. Newfound respect for all those actors, but I was just blessed to be able to be on set with some amazing actors and actresses. And it's we all watch movies and we see them act and we're like, I can do that. But then you get there, it's like, oh shit, this is harder than I thought. So a lot of respect for them. I think it's going to be an incredible movie. Director Ryan, an amazing director. And I think, you never know what they cut at the end. So hopefully my scenes stay in there. So fingers crossed. But if they cut it the way that they know how, I think it's going to be a fantastic movie. I think it's going to take you on an emotional roller coaster. But all in all, fantastic. Marvel don't usually miss, so we'll see.
Thanks, man.
Speaking of acting, did you see Dean Thomas's impersonation of you?
I did see it.
Which
It's hilarious. He don't look quite like me, but it's hilarious.
Well, no, okay. You've mentioned that story of you seeing John win the title, and then that kind of inspired you to pursue this MMA. If he came back down to 205 and you were up there, is that a fighter that you would not want to fight just based on your friendship?
Hey, we got to chill with these scenarios now. John is John. He's big as hell. He's big as hell, which is why he can easily make that transition to light heavyweight. If the money's right, I'll try my luck, but John is great. John is a fantastic competitor. Definitely in that conversation is the best ever.
And on Saturday, there's also another Nigerian fighting, Anthony Joshua's fighting Usyk rematch. So I'm curious what you make of that fight.
I know Joshua switched camps for this fight. I'm hoping, the preparation is there. Like I mentioned earlier, when we go into as fighters, we all have an idea of how we want to fight. When we go into fights, there's a reason we have coaches and we trust in their opinion. And I think Joshua tried to do that the first fight. But if it's not working, fuck it, we gotta fight. Bring out that Nigerian dog and you go out there and get the win somehow. So I'm hoping he has that mentality and that attitude. And if he does, we can see the belts come back to him.
You mentioned your brother briefly the other night when you were in that contract. First, how proud of his accomplishment, how nerve-wracking, if there were any nerves for you, and what's the possibility in the future we see two Usmans holding belts there?
I mean, it's been, first and foremost, it's been a while since I cornered someone. A few months. I think the last one really that I felt, Francis' fight was great. I think when Francis won the belt, it kind of felt like that. Sometimes you just get filled with so much adrenaline and so much joy to where you mess around and fuck my knee up, trying to jump up there on that thing. So it's, you're just filled with so much joy, you just explode with all of that. a great and amazing feeling to see him get that success because he's been at this for a little while, just a little bit now, and he still has a long way to go. But you know, Francis as well is my brother, so you know, hopefully we are out of the sport before these young guys start coming after us. So you know, we want to get in the sport, make the biggest splash ever, make our money, and walk away before some of these time waits for no man. So these young guys come up there, they try to challenge us, hopefully we out of the way.
And lastly, as a guy that's never owned a silk shirt, you mentioned the cotton strings. Does the silk cotton?
It's nice. It's nice. Feel this on the skin, you never go back. But I still rock with the cotton though. So you know, cotton, whoever, you know, fabric of our lives. So you know, I cut a promo for you. So you know, call my manager, Ali Abdelaziz. You know, we can do something. I still rock with cotton though. I train with it.
Just a couple more, Dan. Kamaru, the front row on your right. As someone who's actually familiar with the Mountain Time Zone, what was your reaction to finding out that 278 was coming to Salt Lake City and that you'd be headlining here for the first pay-per-view in Salt Lake City?
Initially, I was like, okay, you know, but at the end of the day, my paycheck doesn't really change. You know, it stays the same. So, you know, we just get to come out here and give Salt Lake City a treat. And if this fight goes anything like I'm imagining, you know, a tremendous fight that they will never forget, Salt Lake City.
Speaking to Steve Seiler, former UFC fighter who's on Team Mayhem on the Ultimate Fighter back in the day, he was referencing, you know, you being an assistant coach on that team, kind of learning MMA, seeing you put on the gloves for the first time. His words were, you were not the lion then yet that you would become. When you think back to those early days, what got you kind of through your beginning in the UFC to the point where you are now?
First of all, shout out to Steven Seiler. I mean, tough kid, tough dude. I think we managed him at some point too, didn't we, Ali?
Yes.
Yeah, Steven Seiler, good fighter, really good fighter. I always had a lion inside. The only thing was, you know, it came out in different forms. If you ever see me in certain wrestling matches, I bring the dog out. But in MMA, it's a little different. You got to learn how to kind of hone that lion. You know, it's kind of what we're about over in Denver, Onyx and Trevor. You know, what hones you on the inside. The lion's always been in there. You know, just got to have to hone it and you know, being able to be in a position and finding a way to bring it out when it's necessary. We saw it in those, especially in that first Covington fight. You know, I was battling a lot, physically and mentally going into that fight. But hey, when it calls for time to bring that dog and that lion out, I'm pretty good at finding them.
Real quick, one more. Right? Yeah. Real quick, I just wanted to say we're super excited for this fight, given it's our first big fight ever here in Salt Lake. What are your impressions so far of our city?
I love the Midwest. I love the Salt Lake. Well, I guess mountainside, so but you guys are close enough.
Yeah.
But I love it here. I love it in, you know, Nebraska, Colorado. I love all these cities because it's not the biggest, but it's not the smallest. It's just enough for everyone. You know, and I love the people, good people, you know, with good values and good, just homegrown. And that's what's important to me, especially now being in the age where I was at. Now, if you ask me this question at 23, you know, I want to be in Miami. But, you know, these are kind of the things that are important to me now, family, and, you know, good environment to be able to raise family and just be a good human.
And do you think training in Denver, where the elevation's even higher, is going to give you an edge on this fight?
I don't know. What gives me an edge is my will. And you know, when push come to shove, and we start digging, both of us, we all know my shovel is bigger than everybody in the division. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all.